Chapter 11, the male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since then, Xuanhuan felt his brother and sister-in-law were paying more attention to him. His brother, Xuanhuan, started treating him like a kid, constantly checking in, making sure he wasn't missing anything. Xuanhuan thought his brother was a little too into it, but he went with it. Xuanhuan was being genuine, so he returned the favor. All good. When Xuanhuan accidentally showed the amulet and saw his sister-in-law put it on with the jade pendant, he was super happy. The fact that they were even willing to accept his so-called safety stuff in this day and age made Xuanhuan feel like he was finally doing something right. He told the system to keep a closer eye on Xuanhuan's movements and went to get busy with other things. Lately, Xuanhuan had become obsessed with games. Developing them, to be exact, he was redoing the game the original owner had developed in the original story, adding his own twists and new games. The system had previously called him out on being lazy and suggested he find a hobby. He figured he'd rested enough, so he looked for something to kill time. Once he got into gaming, he found it pretty cool. So, he decided to follow the original owner's path and open a game company just for kicks. As for Xuanhuan, the Jiang family had been a real circus lately, so he decided to let them sort themselves out. The fight between the Jiang family's two sons was pretty entertaining. After confirming Xuanhuan's health, his father ordered him to rest at home. Then, Jiang's father brought in an illegitimate son to the company. When Xuanhuan finally returned, he was greeted by his half-brother. The guy made a splash right away, impressing Jiang's father and other shareholders. The shareholders didn't care who inherited the company as long as they had the skills to make money. Xuanhuan felt more threatened than ever. Things were looking grim for Xuanhuan. Jiang's father was clearly favoring the illegitimate son and even started seeing the guy's mom again. Jiang's mom was constantly fighting with Jiang's father, and the family was a mess. Meanwhile, Xuanhuan's brother, Xuanhuan, found out he was starting a game company and invested without hesitation. Xuanhuan quickly secured the startup capital and built a team. 8 months later, his sister-in-law had a beautiful, healthy baby boy named Xuanhu, and Xuanhuan became an uncle. The accident that had prevented the child's birth in the original story was easily avoided thanks to the jade pendant. Now, the Xu family had little Xuanhu running around, bringing even more joy. Xuanhuan's game company was off to a great start, and his first game became a global hit. Over at the Jiang group, Xuanhuan and his illegitimate brother continued to fight and sabotage each other. On top of that, Xuanhuan was setting traps every now and then, and the company was rapidly declining, shrinking by almost half. Xuanhuan looked at the situation and decided it was time for Xuanhuan to come back. What if she waited too long? What if the Jiang company went under, and something happened to her? She and Xuanhuan were supposed to be together, and he didn't want to be the bad guy who broke them up. Plus, the original owner wanted the couple to stay together forever. So, after a year, the people Xuanhuan sent to find Xuanhuan finally had news and reported to Xuanhuan. Knowing where she was, Xuanhuan personally led a team to the town where Xuanhuan lived to bring her back. Acting as if the last 2 years hadn't even happened, Xuanhuan arrived in town in the afternoon. Xuanhuan was at home with Xiaoyu, who she had given birth to 6 months earlier. It had been a difficult birth, but she had a cute baby boy. His last name was Qiao, and his name was Xiaoyu. The baby always slept during the day and cried at night. Xuanhuan had no choice but to adjust to Xiaoyu's schedule. She couldn't afford much, so she'd only hired a postpartum nurse for a bit. After that, she'd been taking care of the baby alone and was finally getting the hang of it. Outside, Xuanhuan frowned at the dilapidated house. Seeing this, his assistant knocked on the door. Xuanhuan woke up to the knocking. Afraid of startling the baby, she quickly got up to answer it. When she opened the door, she was stunned. She'd expected a neighbor or the landlord, but it was Xuanhuan. What was he doing here? Was it about the child? But she'd already given birth. She couldn't just stick him back in and abort him. What did he want? Xuanhuan tried to close the door, but Xuanhuan stopped her. Xuanhuan. Hearing the familiar voice, Xuanhuan froze, tears welling up. As she turned to go back inside, Xuanhuan hugged her and gently patted her back. Xuanhuan, you've been through so much. Where's our baby? I'm taking you home. Xuanhuan was shocked. She was happy and confused. What about your fiancé? We broke it off. Xuanhuan, let's be together. For real this time. Let's give the baby a family, okay? Crying tears of joy, Xuanhuan looked at the man she'd been dreaming of and hugged him back. Okay. When the two went inside, Xuanhuan saw the sleeping baby and finally relaxed. He had a son. So what if he couldn't have any more kids? The Jiang family's oldest grandson was his son. For that reason alone, his father wouldn't replace him with the illegitimate son. Xuanhuan was his first child and also the most successful. If it hadn't been for his health issues, he might have wiped out the Jiang family's matriarchy, leaving the Jiang group with no heir. That was why he had considered letting the illegitimate son join the company. The fighting between the two brothers had turned the company upside down. Now that the problem was solved, Xuanhuan was still in line to inherit the Jiang family business. Zhang's mother came over to look at the baby too, smiling. Xuanhuan was relieved that Zhang's father and mother had accepted the child. For once, the family was getting along. Xuanhuan packed a few things the next day, and she, Zhao Xiaoyu, and Xuanhuan headed back to Haisher. Back in Haisher, Xuanhuan suggested taking the child to meet his parents. Xuanhuan agreed. It wasn't too late to go home after meeting them. At the Jiang house, Xuanhuan held Zhao Xiaoyu's hand and Xuanhuan's hand. Father Jiang was sitting in the main seat, and Mother Jiang was on the couch next to him, looking at her phone. Xuanhuan introduced them. Dad, this is Xuanhuan, and this is our son, Xiaoyu. Father Jiang glanced at them and said, bring the child over here. Let me take a look. Hearing this, Xuanhuan quickly brought him the child. He told his father on the phone that he'd found the baby. Seeing Zhang's father's expression, he knew his plan was working. He was back in his father's good graces. Xuanhuan was right. Father Jiang perked up when he saw the tiny child. Xuanhuan was his first son and the one he was most proud of. If it wasn't for his physical problems, he might have put an end to the Jiang family curse and chosen him to lead the Jiang group. He wouldn't have even considered letting the illegitimate son join. Zhang's mother, who was sitting nearby, came over to look at the child, smiling. Xuanhuan relaxed, seeing that Zhang's father and mother had accepted the child. For once, the family was in harmony. Chapter 12: The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuanhuan spent the night at Zhang's house and returned to her parents' place with her baby the next day. Her parents only had one daughter, and they'd been worried sick since she disappeared earlier in the year. They hadn't heard a word, and they were beside themselves. When they first saw her, they could hardly believe their eyes. Once they were sure it was really her, Xiao's mother hugged her and cried, and Xiao's father wiped away tears, too. After the crying subsided, they saw the baby in the stroller. Their emotions were all over the place. Their daughter had gone ahead and had this baby, despite their objections, the family business, everything, but disappointment gave way to love. Xiao's mother looked her daughter over. She was so thin, the baby fat was gone, and her face looked older, tired and careworn. She must have been through hell this past year, and hadn't she? Pregnant and alone, giving birth with no one to help. Facing each day and taking care of a helpless, crying infant. She must have wanted to cry her eyes out. In the original story, Xuanhuan had invented an excuse to go abroad. No one but the original owner knew she was pregnant, so she wasn't pressured to have an abortion. After going abroad, she'd stayed in touch with her family, using the original owner as a do-gooder who took care of everything. 5 years later, she returned radiant, pure, and full of life. Now, she was a completely different person. Xiao's mother asked about the past year. Xuanhuan kept it brief. When they learned that Xuanhuan had brought her back, Xiao's parents looked a little uncomfortable. They'd heard rumors floating around about Xuanhuan, whispers that he wasn't all there and that the Su family had divorced him. Later, Zhang's father had acknowledged an illegitimate child and seemed ready to give up on Xuanhuan. They didn't know the specifics of Zhang's family business that year, but they'd heard it wasn't doing so well, supposedly due to infighting between the Jiang brothers. Now, seeing this, they suspected the rumors were true. Only if Xuanhuan couldn't have kids would he take back a child he'd wanted aborted. Zhang's parents had had no reaction to this, and had even quickly accepted it. Xiao's father and mother were hesitant and worried, they were overthinking things. Xuanhuan might not be able to with anyone else, but he could with Xiao Xinghuan. Zhong Qingdan wouldn't allow it. Xiao Xinghuan learned about the rumors concerning Xuanhuan that night. Xiao's mother hesitated all day but finally decided to tell her daughter the truth. After listening, Xiao Xinghuan was in disbelief. She couldn't imagine the strong, impressive Xuanhuan being like that. "Mom, that must be a rumor." "Ah, Chuan isn't like that. I don't believe it. Just last night, Xuanhuan had said he wanted to marry her. After she left, he'd realized he loved her. After wrestling with himself, he'd come to her, asking for her forgiveness, but now, her mother was saying that wasn't the case." Xiao Xinghuan panicked. Part of her was afraid that the rumors about Xuanhuan were true. What would she do then? The other part was afraid that Xuanhuan was only willing to accept her because of the child, not because he truly loved her. Lost in thought, Xiao Xinghuan said to her mother, "Mom, don't say things like that. I believe in him." She wanted to believe in the successful, powerful man she knew. She wanted to believe he'd come to her because he'd seen her heart and truly wanted to be with her, not for any other reason. That evening, Xiao Xinghuan contacted Xuanhuan. Although she didn't want to believe the rumors, she decided to see for herself, just for peace of mind. In the hotel room, Xuanhuan was embarrassed when Xiao Xinghuan got close. He was expecting to be unresponsive, but he was pleasantly surprised to find that he gradually started responding even before he really tried anything. Xuanhuan went from blank-faced to shocked to ecstatic. He was fine. He was finally fine. He turned from passive to active, hugging Xiao Xinghuan and carrying her to the bed. They spent the entire night making up for lost time. Xiao Xinghuan was relieved because she was now sure that Xuanhuan wasn't broken. He wanted to be with her because he loved her, too. Xuanhuan was overjoyed because he was functioning normally again. His manhood was back. He no longer had to endure the jokes and whispers. Shirqing did nothing after learning Xiao Xinghuan was back. He went to work as usual, only occasionally keeping an eye on the beautiful romance between Xuanhuan and Xiao Xinghuan. A few days later, Shirqing was invited to a charity auction hosted by the Yang family. As soon as he walked in, he saw Xuanhuan and Xiao Xinghuan. Xiao Xinghuan was holding Xuanhuan's arm. Xuanhuan was talking to another man. Xiao Xinghuan was smiling politely. They made quite a striking couple, being so good-looking. Shirqing walked over. He had to pass by them to get to his seat. When he walked in front of Xiao Xinghuan, she saw him and her face lit up. Excited and friendly, she said, "Brother Shirqing, are you here for the event too?" "Yep," Shirqing replied casually. "What a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you here. It's been a while. By the way, let me introduce you to my boyfriend, Xuanhuan." Shirqing nodded to Xuanhuan. "Hello. Ah, Chuan, this is my childhood friend, Shirqing." "Hello," Xuanhuan said with a nod. Xuanhuan hadn't met Shirqing before, though he'd heard of him. The Shi brothers were famous. Shirqing walked past them. Seeing Xuanhuan and Xiao Xinghuan so close and getting even closer, he finally understood. He'd read those cheesy romance stories about the powerful CEO and the innocent girl, where the guy only had eyes for her. It wasn't that he loved her so much that he chose her, overcoming every obstacle and doubt to be with her, but that he could only choose her. It's not "I have feelings for you, so I only love you," but "I can only have feelings for you, so I have to love you." Xuanhuan was a prime example, wasn't he? TSK, TSK, TSK. Xuanhuan definitely liked Xiao Xinghuan, but Shirqing felt that his actual feelings hadn't reached the intensity of what he was showing. As long as Xuanhuan didn't let go, Xiao Xinghuan would never get away. It's like the saying goes, if she runs and he chases, she'll never escape, even if she has wings. Shirqing was in a great mood, knowing that one of the original owner's wishes had been so easily granted. Chapter 13 The male supporting role of the substitute who takes the ball away from the heroine. 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rumors about Jiang Ruchuan's incompetence faded after Xuanhuan came back. Even though he never clarified anything, nobody on the outside really knew the full story. Now that Jiang Ruchuan has a child and he and Xuanhuan are all over each other in public, the gossip has pretty much died down. Jiang Ruchuan even negotiated a deal with a foreign SG company, giving the Jiang group hope of getting back on its feet, maybe even bigger than before. SG company is a huge multinational based in the States. Even the Jiang family back in their heyday couldn't get their attention, let alone now. Jiang Ruchuan landing this deal for the Jiang family is a major accomplishment. Jiang's father did a complete 180 and started backing Jiang Ruchuan. The illegitimate son he used to be so high on. He shipped him off without a second thought. Lately, the Jiang family has gone from a chaotic free-for-all between the brothers to a tight, motivated machine. The Jiang group seems to be back to its old self, with everything looking up. Jiang Ruchuan's been riding high, feeling like his old, confident self again. Although he's noticed that he only seems to have a reaction to Xuanhuan, he's still a dud with everyone else. 2 months later, Xuanhuan got a wedding invite from Xuanhuan. She dropped it off herself, wearing a white dress and waiting for him downstairs at the Xuanhuan company. Xuanhuan was standing in the lobby of Xuanhuan's office building, feeling like a kicked puppy, because Xuanhuan blocked her number a while back. She couldn't get in touch with him, and the front desk was appointment only, so she was stuck waiting. Chuan said Xuanhuan's company is doing great. Knowing she knew Xuanhuan, he hoped they could get along. Maybe they could help Jiang out if things got tight. After all, the Jiang group isn't what it used to be. Xuanhuan also figured she could reconnect with Xuanhuan. They'd been friends since they were kids, and she always thought Xuanhuan was important to her. She was determined to patch things up, even though she was upset when she asked brother Xuanhuan to run away with her. Later, he refused to take her away no matter how long they were friends, which made her suffer a lot alone, but she didn't blame him. Xuanhuan already knew Xuanhuan was downstairs, thanks to the system, and he could guess why she was there. She wanted to rekindle their bond. Hoping he'd still be the same caring brother figure he used to be. Too bad for her, the kind, plot-controlled guy was gone. Now she had to deal with Xuanhuan, the cold-blooded mission leader. Xuanhuan waited until quitting time before heading downstairs. Usually, he went straight to the parking garage, but he couldn't avoid Xuanhuan forever, so he decided to meet her in the lobby. The elevator reached the first floor. When Xuanhuan stepped out, he saw Xuanhuan. She saw him too and hurried over. Brother Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan pretended to be surprised and asked, "What are you doing here?" "I came to give you this invitation, Brother Xuanhuan. I'm getting married." Xuanhuan looked shy. "Congratulations." Seeing Xuanhuan's flat expression, Xuanhuan felt a little hurt. "Brother Xuanhuan, I couldn't reach you on my phone, so I had to wait for you here." "Oh, really?" Xuanhuan said, not really caring. It's not like she couldn't reach him. He blocked her number a year ago. "Are you free now? Let's grab a bite to eat and exchange numbers. It's been a while. The company's been pretty hectic lately." "Sorry, I'm probably swamped." Xuanhuan didn't know what to say. Seeing Xuanhuan's distant, polite demeanor, she could only say, "That's okay. Maybe another time." After handing Xuanhuan the invitation, Xuanhuan left. "Host, are you going to her wedding?" Hearing the system's question, Xuanhuan smirked. "Of course. She went out of her way to invite me, why wouldn't I?" In the original story, the original owner, who was head over heels for Xuanhuan, didn't even get an invite. He didn't do a thing, and Xuanhuan showed up in person to hand over the invitations. The comparison was a bit harsh. Back on her way, Xuanhuan's thoughts were a mess. Ever since Xuanhuan refused to bail her out, Xuanhuan felt a little intimidated by him. Maybe it's because Xuanhuan has changed so much now, she thought. He used to be gentle as could be, always patient with her. Even though he still looked the same, there was something about him that felt distant and unapproachable. Was brother Xuanhuan still mad at her? But wasn't she showing her trust in him when she went to him for help? He flat out refused and then blocked her. If he wasn't mad at her, what reason did he have to be like that? The more Xuanhuan thought about it, the more upset she became. When she got home and saw her well-behaved son sleeping peacefully, Xuanhuan's mood lifted. Xiao Xiaoyu, now Jiang Yiheng, is the only kid in the Jiang family, and everyone dotes on him. She and Jiang Ruchuan got their marriage license a few days ago, and the wedding's in a month. The thought of finally walking down the aisle with the man she loved made Xuanhuan giddy, and she couldn't help but smile. She really loved Jiang Ruchuan. She loved his bossiness, his good looks, his wild, romantic side. She loved everything about him. A month flew by, and Shirqing sat at Xuanhuan's wedding, watching their love story unfold with interest. The sky was blue, the sun was shining, and the MC was cracking jokes, setting a warm atmosphere. Jiang Ruchuan was beaming, looking like a new man. Xuanhuan was all smiles, looking radiant. The newlyweds seemed to be on top of the world. The wedding went off without a hitch. Under the MC's direction, they exchanged vows, kissed, gave speeches, and made toasts. Shirqing sat back and enjoyed the show, eating and drinking like the other guests, looking at the happy couple on stage. Shirqing and the system sighed. Other than Xiao Xiaoyu, or Jiang Yiheng, being too young to be a ring-bearer, everything was pretty much the same as in the original plot. Back then, the original owner's family went bankrupt, and he was swamped with work. He didn't even get invited to Jiang Ruchuan and Xuanhuan's wedding, but Shirqing was seeing it all firsthand. When it was time for toasts, Xuanhuan led Jiang Ruchuan over to Shirqing with a glass of wine. Xuanhuan was all smiles, more beautiful than ever. Brother Shirqing, thanks for coming to our wedding. Chuan and I want to toast you. Shirqing took the glass, downed it in one gulp, and said, congratulations. Wishing you a lifetime of happiness together. He still remembered what Xuanhuan told the original owner after coming back. Brother Shirqing, I'm so happy now. Xiaoyu has a father, I love him, and he loves me. We're so happy. I hope you can be happy for us. The original owner was conflicted at the time, but now Shirqing genuinely wished them well. He hoped they'd be together forever, no matter what. Chapter 14. The male supporting role of the substitute who takes the ball away from the heroine. 14. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After their late-in-life marriage, Jiang Ruchuan and Xiao Xing were living the dream. They were the novel's main couple, so they were practically made for each other. The Jiang group was also booming, and Jiang Ruchuan was back to being the powerful CEO everyone knew. The only hitch was that the company had taken a beating during the power struggle between him and his brother earlier in the year. But Jiang Ruchuan was confident that his partnership with SG Company would bring the Jiang group back to its former glory in no time. He'd lucked out meeting the head of the SG Company project, who'd helped him out, and he'd finally landed the deal. He knew that if he played his cards right, the Jiang group would reach a whole new level. Meanwhile, over at the Shi family's place, Shirqing was deep in a game, racking up kills when the system chimed in. Host, Jiang Rufeng's been trying to reach you again. Yeah, Shirqing mumbled, unfazed, and kept playing. Once the game was over, Shirqing checked his messages. Jiang Rufeng had been blowing up his phone lately. The guy was clearly desperate. Most of the messages were Jiang Rufeng begging for help, wondering how he could get back into the Jiang group. Being kicked out by his own dad clearly hadn't sat well with him. Shirqing chuckled and sent a calm reply, Lei Feng, relax. Even if you got the boot, I got news for you. Someone's trying to take down the Jiang family. They're about to crash and burn. Jiang Rufeng, bro, don't scare me like that. Didn't Jiang Ruchuan just team up with SG Company? How could that be? Lei Feng, why do you think SG picked the Jiang family, in its current state, for this partnership? Jiang Rufeng, didn't Jiang Ruchuan help the project lead get somewhere? Lei Feng, in business, you really think that SG employees can be swayed by personal feelings? Jiang Rufeng stared at the message, suddenly breaking out in a cold sweat. He barely knew Lei Feng, this internet persona, but the guy had been a huge help, for free. Even if he didn't know what Lei Feng's angle was, Jiang Rufeng knew that he never talked nonsense. Even though he suspected the news was true, Jiang Rufeng needed confirmation. Jiang Rufeng, you sure this is legit? Lei Feng, believe it or not. My advice? Grab your mom and your money and get out before you get dragged down with them. Jiang Rufeng, let me think about it. Xuanhuan wasn't exactly close to his father. He'd grown up with his mom, and his dad barely visited. When he was a kid, he'd envied other kids with dads, but he'd gotten over that once he knew the truth. Lost in thought, another message popped up. Lei Feng, there's this Xinping company in Ping City looking for investors. Check them out. Xuanhuan's eyes lit up, and he fired off a quick reply. Xuanhuan, got it. Lei Feng was the real MVP. Shi Qing smiled at the reply. Looks like the guy trusted him. The system watched its host's actions, feeling like he'd lost it. Xuanhuan was Xuanhuan's half-brother. His host had been in contact with him since before Zhang's father had even noticed him and brought him into the Zhang group, helping him strategize, get the shareholders on his side, and hold his own against Xuanhuan, all his hosts doing. Otherwise, if Xuanhuan was really all that, would he have just waltzed into the Zhang family without making a splash? Xuanhuan was the novel's hero, and sharp as a tack. Anyone who could compete with him and not get steamrolled had to be top tier, and Xuanhuan definitely wasn't. Xuanhuan was just the smartest of Zhang's father's 3 illegitimate kids. His mom was a sweetheart and Zhang's father liked her a lot, so, when Xuanhuan had messed up, Zhang's father had immediately thought of Xuanhuan. After confirming that Zhang's father would reach out to Xuanhuan, Shi Qing had contacted him, playing the role of Lei Feng and offering his help, because, helping Xuanhuan fight Xuanhuan and causing chaos within the Zhang family would create an opportunity for him to swindle Xuanhuan and bring down the Zhang family. Xuanhuan was usually too careful. He always weighed the pros and cons before making a move, but now, Xuanhuan's arrival had thrown the Zhang family into disarray. The Zhang group had taken a hit from their squabbles, and he needed help, fast. Shi Qing had secretly set up the fake SG deal between the company pretending to be SG and Xuanhuan. In the original storyline, someone had pretended to be from SG company to scam money in mainland China, but the victim had been a small company. When Xuanhuan had seen it, he had laughed it off, saying, "Why would SG company partner with some no-name company? They deserve to be scammed for being so delusional." Now that the Zhang group had become that no-name company, Shi Qing wondered what Xuanhuan would think. Why didn't Shi Qing just go after the Zhang family directly? Why all the theatrics? Well, Shi Qing had thought about it. His gaming company didn't overlap with the Zhang group's industries. The Zhang group was an old powerhouse, and it would take too long to use his current company to take them down. The system had said that there were issues within the Zhang group, but not enough to cripple them. Xuanhuan wasn't the arrogant, evil CEO he was going to become. He hadn't done anything illegal yet. Shi's company and the Zhang group did have overlapping interests, so Shi's company could be used to mess with the Zhang group, but Shi's company was Shi's parents' life's work, and his brother Shi Yan had worked his tail off to get it to where it was, putting the Shi family and the Zhang family head-to-head. Even if the Shi family won, they'd both be seriously hurt. Shi Yan had always been good to him, and Shi Qing didn't want that. Besides, the original owner wouldn't have wanted that. In the original plot, the original owner had always blamed himself for the Shi family's bankruptcy. Shi Qing wasn't about to put the Shi family in danger. Over the past year, Shi Qing had quietly manipulated things from behind the scenes. Many of the deals that the Zhang group lost had gone to the Shi family, who were now reaping the rewards. Wasn't this method better, without any bloodshed? Plus, having Xuanhuan bring about the Zhang family's downfall himself. That was the ultimate gut punch. Right? Chapter 15: The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The first domino of Shi Qing's plan for the Zhang group is about to fall. Mr. Zhang, they've found artifacts on the West Side property. The secretary burst into Xuanhuan's office, forgetting to knock. What? Xuanhuan's mind went blank. He understood perfectly. Discovering artifacts meant a halt to construction on the West Side, potentially losing their initial investment. Besides the SG company deal, the West Side land was the company's major investment. Xuanhuan envisioned a new commercial hub there, fueled by rumors of future government development plans. That's why he'd paid so much for the land. Now, barely after breaking ground, this. What's the situation? Just that artifacts were unearthed. Lots of witnesses. Someone's already contacted the Cultural Relics Bureau. Jiang Ruchuan's heart sank. If it was kept quiet, maybe he could have worked around it. Now, his only hope was that it wasn't some massive ancient tomb. Days later, the worst was confirmed, an ancient tomb of significant research value. The site was sealed off, and Jiang's investment was down the drain. As if that wasn't enough, the SG company partnership hit a wall. Jiang's people couldn't reach anyone. Jiang Ruchuan had a sinking feeling. Sure enough, the SG office in High City was deserted. They were gone. Everyone was gone. Mr. Jiang, we still can't find anyone from SG. Jiang Ruchuan sat in his office, face like thunder, while his secretary reported. Also, police contacted SG headquarters, and they claim no one from their company was ever sent to High City. The secretary added hesitantly. Jiang Ruchuan's face paled. If he couldn't see what was happening, he was a fool. The so-called SG company was a scam. It all made sense now. The unbelievable coincidence. The small favor he'd done for the person in charge, the instant agreement to partner with them. He'd walked right into a trap. His face grew even paler. They'd alerted the police when SG vanished, but they seemed to have disappeared into thin air. No clues. He'd poured billions into that bogus project, plus the West Side land. The company was bled dry. We're done for. Jiang Ruchuan thought, beyond the financial loss and shareholder fallout, how would the company even operate? He needed a plan. Now, Jiang Ruchuan stood abruptly and headed out, his steps unsteady. His secretary watched his retreating back, concerned, and followed in silence, as if on cue. More bad news arrived days later. A defective Jiang product caused an accident. Luckily, the user was unharmed, but the incident exploded in the media. Jiang's company was in a crisis, its finances collapsing, stock prices plummeting. Jiang's father was furious, frantic. Father and son scrambled to fix things, but with little success. Jiang Ruchuan was in endless meetings, working overtime, seeking investments, trying to salvage the situation. The warm, happy atmosphere of the Jiang household vanished. Xuanhuan felt the tension. Married, seeing Jiang Yiheng daily, shopping, spa days. Life had been perfect. Jiang Ruchuan used to come home on time, the family would eat together, everything harmonious. Now, Jiang Ruchuan was always gone, or grim and preoccupied. Xuanhuan was worried. She'd seen news about the Jiang family online, but figured it was minor. Something big was clearly happening. She could feel it. She knew there was a problem with the company, but not the details. And she felt helpless. Suddenly, an idea struck her. That's it. Help. She would help Chuan get through this. That night, Jiang Ruchuan came home to find Xuanhuan waiting for him in the living room. Why aren't you asleep? I wanted to wait for you. Jiang Ruchuan felt a warmth in his chest, and told her softly, go to bed, it's late. Chuan, what's wrong with the company? Tell me. I want to help, we can figure it out together. Don't worry about the company. I'll handle it. He was stressed and didn't want to burden her, but seeing her tearful eyes, his heart softened. He told her everything. Xuanhuan frowned. It was worse than she'd imagined. How could she help Chuan? Then it hit her. Shi Qing could definitely help the Jiang family. The next day, Shi Qing found himself face to face with a desperate Xuanhuan, sitting in his car, watching her block the road. He wasn't surprised. Shi Qing got out and asked, feigning ignorance, what do you want? Brother Shi Qing, I need a favor. Can we talk somewhere? Seeing her persistence, Shi Qing simply agreed. Okay. Xuanhuan expected a hard sell. She was stunned when Shi Qing agreed so easily, and it took her a moment to recover before she felt a wave of relief. They went to a coffee shop and got a private room. After ordering, Xuanhuan began tentatively, Brother Shi Qing, have you heard about the Jiang family's current troubles? I've heard some things. What's up? Shi Qing replied, pretending to be clueless. I came to you because of the Jiang family. Can you help Chuan? Xuanhuan pleaded. Shi Qing stared back, silent, growing anxious at his lack of response. Xuanhuan continued, for the sake of our friendship, please help the Jiang family, Brother Shi Qing. Shirqing, help, he designed this whole mess. Was she out of her mind? Chapter 16 The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the previous life, when the Shi family business tanked, Shirqing didn't try to guilt-trip Xuanhuan for help. Later, after his brother and sister-in-law died and he uncovered Xuanhuan's involvement, he confronted Jiang, seeking justice that never came. When Xuanhuan found out, she feigned heartache, telling him, Shirqing, business is business. Friendship doesn't factor in. The Shi company failed because you couldn't hack it. Don't blame Ruchuan. Then, switching gears, she pretended to be saddened, adding, I'm also devastated about Shi and his wife, but how can you accuse Ruchuan of hiring someone to kill them? Shirqing, what's gotten into you? You weren't like this. I'm so disappointed. The original Shirqing felt like he'd swallowed a bug. Now, Shirqing watched Xuanhuan's anxious face and said plainly, business is a battlefield, all's fair. Jiang's failure is solely due to Jiang Ruchuan's incompetence. Besides, Jiang's is a lost cause. As a businessman, I see no point in throwing good money after bad. Buzz off. I can't help. Xuanhuan, hearing this cold dismissal, stared, wide-eyed in disbelief. She'd been clinging to the idea that some spark still existed between them. That's why she decided to approach him. And the fact that he'd agreed to meet so readily must mean he still cared, right? But his opening words were so brutal, her eyes welled up, a mix of hurt and helplessness. They used to be close. Shirqing used to treat her so well. But ever since he refused to run away with her that time, everything changed. It was like he'd become a different person, cold and unfeeling towards her. But Ruchuan needed help desperately, and Shirqing was the only one she could think of. Her family's assistance would barely make a dent. Among their acquaintances, he was the only one who could truly save the Jiangs. Shirqing, please help Jiangs. Aren't we friends? I'm begging you. How ironic. Now that the tables were turned and her company was circling the drain, now she wanted to play the friends help each other card. Xuanhuan wasn't as naive as she'd been in his past life. She'd taken a few hits and didn't automatically expect Shirqing to jump to her aid. Seeing her on the verge of tears, Shirqing cut her off impatiently, playing the ruthless capitalist. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Companies go belly up every day. Jiang's is too far gone. If you really considered me a friend, you wouldn't put me on the spot and ask me to throw my money away. Shirqing made his position crystal clear, no help, period. Seeing his resolve, she finally gave up, and they parted on bad terms. She returned deflated, all her energy gone. When Jiang Ruchuan came home that night and learned about her fruitless visit, he said nothing. The situation was deteriorating rapidly. The Lei family, longtime rivals, were circling like vultures, ready to pick apart the carcass. Former allies were nowhere to be seen. Jiang Ruchuan knew better than to expect help. At this point, he was just hoping they wouldn't actively make things worse. The Zus, connected by marriage, were also standing by. The cooperation between the two families had dissolved before he and Xuanhuan wed, and Sun Yanxi had conveniently left the country just days before the wedding. The Jiangs were completely isolated. Jiang Ruchuan felt an unprecedented wave of pressure and panic. Then, a glimmer of hope. The police announced they'd located the scammers who'd impersonated SG Company. Jiang Ruchuan was thrilled, then relieved. If they could recover the stolen funds, the Jiangs might be saved. He ordered his secretary to monitor the situation closely, but the next update was a crushing blow. The money was gone. The scammers claimed they transferred the funds to an overseas account. Shortly after escaping, when they were about to divvy up the loot, they discovered the balance was zero. The amount was massive, and the police escalated the case. Despite the involvement of top computer experts, the money remained untraceable. The system congratulated itself. It was the one who transferred the money, anonymously donating it to several charities. Good luck tracing that. Jiang Ruchuan's last hope evaporated, and the Jiang family spiraled into chaos. After months of struggling, Jiang Ruchuan and his father were forced to declare bankruptcy. The once powerful Jiang family, a pillar of Haishur, finally crumbled, and its assets were snatched up by eager vultures. Unlike the Shi family in the original timeline, who retained wealth after bankruptcy, the Jiangs were left practically penniless. After the collapse, Xuanhuan brought her son, Jiang Ruchuan, and his parents to the Qiao family. Qiao's parents only had one daughter and were heartbroken by her situation. They took the Jiangs in out of compassion. While not as grand as the former Jiang Empire, the Qiao's resources were sufficient to support them, and they moved into the Qiao residence. Shi Qing was keeping tabs. He wasn't happy with how things were going. It wasn't long before Jiang Ruchuan and his family realized they were cursed. Soon after they arrived, the Qiao family business started experiencing setbacks and eventually went under as well. Both families were forced to leave the Qiao villa and rent a place together. The elderly and the young relied almost entirely on Xuanhuan to run the household. Jiang Ruchuan wasn't giving up. He was determined to make a comeback and went out every day looking for opportunities. Jiang's father, worn down by age and the company's failure, was a shell of his former self. He was depressed and constantly sighing. Jiang's mother, once a fiercely independent woman, had grown accustomed to the comforts of wealth. Now, tasks like laundry and cooking were foreign to her. Qiao's parents had also lived pampered lives and were clueless about basic chores. Xuanhuan was at her wit's end. She'd learned to cook and do laundry after going alone to the village, but she never imagined it was just the beginning. The whole family now depended on her. Xuanhuan, why is the baby crying? Xuanhuan was cooking when her mother came in, holding a wailing Jiang Yiheng. The child was gasping for air, and Xuanhuan's head throbbed. "Mom, check if he's wet." Qiao's mother, flustered, replied, "Oh, right." And hurried out with the baby. Xuanhuan wiped the sweat from her brow, feeling bitter inside. She thought her time alone in the village was the hardest thing she'd ever faced, but she was wrong. That night, as she lay in bed, she sighed looking at her son sleeping in the crib. Chapter 17: The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the morning, Shi Qing had just finished washing up when a harsh warning blared from the system. Warning. Host, an anomalous soul detected in this world. Analyzing, Shi Qing froze. An anomalous soul. Xuanhuan identified as a reborn entity. Host, exercise caution. Xuanhuan was reborn. Shi Qing chuckled. No sweat. In the cramped apartment shared by the Jiang and Qiao families, Xuanhuan woke up to a simple room and felt disoriented. Had she been kidnapped? 1 second she was sleeping in her spacious, bright bedroom at home, and the next she was in this strange, small, dark room. She moved her arms and legs, finding nothing restraining her. She slowly sat up, confirming she wasn't tied down. Something was off. This wasn't a kidnapping, but where was she? And why? Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her head, and memories flooded in. After piecing them together, she realized she had been reborn. But why was this life so different? In her previous life, everything had gone smoothly. Shi Qing was there for her during the tough times. Later, after she got back together with Jiang Ruchuan, he doted on her. She also had her eldest son, Jiang Yiheng, who was obedient and thoughtful. She didn't face any real hardships, but in this life, she was forced to abort her child after Jiang Ruchuan found out she was pregnant. Shi Qing refused to take her abroad and cut off all contact. She had no choice but to leave Haishir alone and give birth to the child in secret. During those solitary days, she lived in a tiny, bare apartment, having to take care of herself and the baby. The only upside was that Jiang Ruchuan came to get her 5 years earlier than in her previous life, but the good times didn't last. Things spun out of control. Jiangs went bankrupt, followed soon after by the Qiao family, forcing them into this cramped apartment. Worst of all, she had to do the housework. In her past life, her fingers were delicate and smooth. But now, Xuanhuan looked at her hands. The palms were getting rough from all the chores. Why? Why was everything so different? Xuanhuan was beside herself. What was going on with this completely different timeline? Suddenly, Jiang Yiheng stirred in the crib next to her, startling her. She hadn't even noticed him there. Looking at the tiny Jiang Yiheng, Xuanhuan thought of someone, Shi. In the previous life, Shi had taken care of Jiang Yiheng at this stage. The difference in Shi's behavior in this life, Shi was the only variable between this life and the last. He must have come back too, and earlier than she did. Was Shi behind all of this? Was he getting revenge? In the previous life, Jiang Ruchuan might have bankrupted the Shi family, but that was just business. Besides, wasn't it the Shi family's own fault for failing? Later, she was very sorry to hear that Shi's brother and sister-in-law had been in a car accident. Shi kept hounding Xuanhuan, claiming he had arranged it. She was so disappointed in Shi at that time. The police said Shi had offended someone who retaliated, harming his brother and sister-in-law. Shi kept dodging responsibility and blaming Xuanhuan. In the end, he even went crazy and tried to run them over, wanting to die with them. Luckily, neither he nor Xuanhuan was seriously hurt, but Shi died in the crash. But why was he treating them this way after being reborn? Nothing had even happened yet. Why was he being so petty when they hadn't done anything yet? In this life, he had also started his own company, the company that should have been hers. Now it belonged to Shi. Xuanhuan's heart ached. That company should have been hers. She conveniently forgot that the SC company she thought was hers had been founded by the original owner. Lost in her thoughts, Xuanhuan heard a faint noise outside. It must be Zhang's parents getting up. The thought of having to cook 3 meals a day made her shudder. When Zhang's mother came to ask her to get up and make breakfast, Xuanhuan claimed she wasn't feeling well, so Zhang's father went out to buy breakfast. Xuanhuan ate a bun without tasting it. Jiang Ruchuan was out of town, visiting a friend in City A. Only she, her son, and both sets of parents were at home. She needed to find a way out of this mess. Later that day, Shi was leaving the office when he saw Xuanhuan waiting outside with her child. Knowing she was reborn but not sure what she was up to, Shi planned to ignore them, but Xuanhuan spotted him, turned, and ran toward him, clutching the child. Brother Shi, wait for me. Shi ignored her. The driver was on duty today, so he took the elevator to the ground floor and got in the car outside. He hadn't expected to run into Xuanhuan. Just as he was about to leave, Xuanhuan reached him, thrust the child into his arms, and said breathlessly, "Brother Shi, this is Xiaoyu." Shi glanced at the child but said nothing. Seeing that he was unmoved, Xuanhuan couldn't help but ask, "Brother Shi, are you back too?" Shi looked puzzled. So, seeing that he didn't deny it, Xuanhuan looked pleased. "Brother Shi, look at Xiaoyu. Didn't you love him the most before?" Hearing Xuanhuan's words, Shi finally understood why she had come. He thought her idea was ridiculous. In the original storyline, the original owner had been incredibly generous to Xuanhuan and Xiaoyu, but how had they treated him? Xuanhuan immediately hooked up with Jiang Ruchuan after returning to China. And Xiaoyu? He was a precocious, devilish kid who, after listening to his mother and doing some research, knew exactly who his father was. Upon returning to China, he pretended to be lost and bumped into Jiang Ruchuan. With his resemblance to Jiang Ruchuan, the two were quickly recognized as father and son. Afterward, he used his cunning to bring his parents together, and the family was soon reunited thanks to his efforts. It was natural for children to want their parents, and Shi could understand that. But when Jiang Ruchuan ruined the Shi family company and threatened to crush the original owner, the mother and son pretended not to notice. Once, the original owner ran into Xiaoyu and simply wanted to say hello, but Xiaoyu turned and ran as if he was afraid of being bothered. Later, the original owner ran into Xiaoyu several more times, and Xiaoyu pretended not to know him every time, making a mockery of the years the original owner had cared for him abroad. Now, looking at Xiaoyu, still ignorant and less than a year old, Shi's face remained blank. Chapter 18: The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You think I'm still gonna treat you the same? Shi asked, his face blank. Shi, we never did anything to hurt you. Can't we just go back to how things were? Xuanhuan pleaded. Shi was taken aback. Wow, you've got some nerve. Xiao Xinghuan hadn't directly harmed him, but she'd used him to get a rise out of Jiang Ruchuan, to make him care more about her. And that led to Jiang Ruchuan killing him. How much lower could you get? What was with this innocent act? And Xiao Xiaoyu? He'd completely forgotten the guy who raised him, scared that being associated with him would upset Jiang Ruchuan. Total freeloader. Shi Qing sneered. Oh, you didn't personally do anything. Just egged me on, used me to get a reaction out of Jiang Ruchuan, then stood back and watched him take me down. I didn't mean for things to go that far, Xiao Xinghuan mumbled, looking away. Save it. We have nothing to talk about. What about Xiaoyu? Xiao Xinghuan pressed. He's just a kid. You were so good to him. Don't you care about him at all? Shi Qing laughed. Why don't you think about it the other way? I took care of him for years. Did he ever care about me? Xiao Xinghuan was stunned. She thought back. And it seemed like, no. After Qiao Xiaoyu became Jiang Yihan, he'd latched onto his dad and never mentioned Shi Qing again. When he found out about Shi Qing's death, he barely reacted. Xiao Xinghuan's confidence wavered. But thinking about Shi Qing's revenge, their current mess, and the dark days ahead, she went on the offensive. That was the past life. None of that's happened this time. Shi Qing rolled his eyes, got in his car, and told the driver to leave. He hadn't taken Xiao Xinghuan abroad or wasted money on her like in the original timeline. Jiang Ruchuan and Sun Yanxi were done, too. Jiang Ruchuan didn't get his hands on the Su family like he planned. He didn't have the truth serum or the power that he had in the original timeline either. Jiang Ruchuan and Xiao Xinghuan couldn't touch Shi Qing anymore, and the Shi family was safe, but Shi Qing was back because of the original owner, and the original owner's tragedy, cause and effect. You reap what you sow. Xiao Xinghuan watched the car disappear, her mind racing, filled with uncertainty. Finally, she decided to use her kid to get to Shi Qing. He'd been so good to Xiaoyu before, maybe Xiaoyu could soften him up, but Shi Qing wasn't buying it. She hadn't done anything, had she? Why was Shi Qing treating her this way? Xiao Xinghuan felt so wronged. Back home, she overheard Zhang's parents talking about Jiang Ruchuan coming back. They were still hoping he could get help and save the family. Xiao Xinghuan knew that wasn't happening with Shi Qing on a mission to destroy them. Sure enough, Jiang Ruchuan looked grim when he returned that afternoon. The trip was a bust. Seeing Jiang Ruchuan defeated, Xiao Xinghuan's image of him began to crumble. After that, Jiang Ruchuan kept striking out when looking for a job. Xiao Xinghuan knew Shi Qing was behind it. She didn't know how to explain it to Jiang Ruchuan, so she just kept suggesting they move. Since her rebirth, she hadn't had a single comfortable day. Jiang Ruchuan was getting angrier, and their relationship was falling apart. Finally, after a month, Jiang Ruchuan agreed to leave High City with his family. He wasn't stupid. He realized someone was deliberately sabotaging him. After repeated failures, he took Xiao Xinghuan's advice and planned to leave. Seeing Jiang Ruchuan and Xiao Xinghuan struggling, Shi Qing felt a sense of relief. He was enjoying life. The company was doing great, so he took a trip. He explored the local culture and sites in a popular tourist destination. After a few days, he moved on to another place, traveling for over half a year before returning. During his trip, Shi Yan contacted him every few days, and Shi Qing sent him back interesting souvenirs. Back home, Shi Qing went back to the office and started leading the development of new games. His travels had inspired him, and the beautiful scenery could be incorporated into the game. Shi Qing's company was thriving, and the Shi family was enjoying their success. Meanwhile, Xiao Xinghuan's life was miserable. They thought they could start over in a new place, but things only got worse. She still believed in Jiang Ruchuan's abilities. The confident Jiang Ruchuan from her previous life was still in her mind, but Jiang Ruchuan lost all their savings trying to find opportunities, and his confidence crumbled. His temper was terrible, and he treated her worse and worse. Xiao Xinghuan didn't understand. They were out of High City, out of Shi Qing's reach. How could things still be so bad? If the system could talk, it would tell her that leaving High City didn't change anything. He had already put a curse on Jiang Ruchuan, and asked someone to keep an eye on him all the time. Jiang Ruchuan would never be able to start a business successfully in this life and return to the old days. Chapter 19: The male supporting role of the female protagonist who takes the ball away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When someone influential falls from grace, some people lose heart, while others become emboldened. Jiang's father was the former, but Jiang Ruchuan experienced both. He went from being a golden boy to just another struggling guy. At first, Jiang Ruchuan was confident he could bounce back, but reality quickly disabused him of that notion. Each time he tried to claw his way back to the top, he failed. Initially, he refused to give up, digging in his heels, but the more he failed, the more he doubted himself. He started compromising, even sliding into a downward spiral. Jiang Ruchuan woke up in his cramped, run-down apartment, the smell of stale booze thick in the air, his stomach growling. He was starving. He stumbled into the living room to find Xuanhuan with Jiang Yihan. He plopped down on the worn sofa and barked, "I'm hungry. Make something." "Okay," Xuanhuan said, her face betraying nothing as she looked at his disheveled, drunken state. She had learned to keep her composure. Jiang Ruchuan was a shell of his former self. After losing all their money, he'd become a completely different person. The once ambitious Jiang family heir was gone, replaced by a walking ghost who used alcohol to numb the pain. Jiang Yihan, now a toddler, was starting to walk. Xuanhuan took him to the kitchen to prepare a meal. When she was first reborn, she couldn't be bothered with household chores, and wouldn't lift a finger. Now, she could do it all, and did. Her days of pampered luxury seemed like a distant dream. After throwing together a simple meal, Xuanhuan served Jiang Ruchuan, saving the rest for his parents and hers. With Jiang Ruchuan having squandered everything, the family was broke. They'd moved out of their apartment into this tiny rental. Both sets of parents had found jobs. The pay was terrible, but they had to swallow their pride and work to survive. When poverty comes in at the door, love flies out of the window. People who were once used to a life of privilege had to set aside their pride and work their tails off just to make ends meet. 2 years later, Xuanhuan found a job after Jiang Yihan started kindergarten. They had no choice. Kids cost money. Jiang Ruchuan was useless, and the older folks' wages weren't enough to support everyone. Jiang Yihan showed a real knack for computers early on. In the original timeline, the original owner had fostered his interest, hired tutors, and nurtured his talent. He'd become a hacking prodigy. Now, because of the family's financial situation, he wasn't getting the chance to explore his skills, his potential buried, and he was just another kid lost in the shuffle. Xuanhuan occasionally checked in on Jiang Ruchuan through the system. Seeing that they were a train wreck and no longer posed a threat, he stopped paying attention. Time passed. It had been 5 years since Xuanhuan arrived in this world. Host, Yang Xiaojiang is out of prison. Xuanhuan was playing with building blocks with his nephew, Shirku. When the system delivered the news, it hadn't wanted to interrupt, but Xuanhuan had specifically instructed it to monitor Yang Xiaojiang. "Okay, keep an eye on him for now," he replied, focused on the blocks. "Understood." It was a while before Shirku let his uncle off the hook. For some reason, the kid had become super attached to Xuanhuan. He followed him around calling him uncle all day. Xuanhuan adored the boy and spoiled him rotten. System, where's Yang Xiaojiang now? Yang Xiaojiang was the guy Jiang Ruchuan bribed to tamper with Xuanhuan's car, causing the accident that killed his brother and sister-in-law. Shortly after arriving, Xuanhuan had the system track him down. At the time, Yang Xiaojiang was already locked up, so he just told the system to keep tabs on him. Host, Yang Xiaojiang is living in XX complex now. "Alright, I got it," Xuanhuan replied casually. The system shuddered inwardly. This guy was in serious trouble. Sure enough, a few days later, Yang Xiaojiang was back in prison. This time, it was for good, life imprisonment. The system watched Xuanhuan, whose expression remained unchanged, and felt a prickle of fear. The backdoor entry wasn't playing nice. It seemed like it needed to be extra diligent. Yang Xiaojiang was back behind bars. Around the same time, his sister-in-law discovered she was pregnant. The baby that had died in the original timeline was born, a healthy girl named Shi Yan. Shi Yan had a loving family. They were happy and thriving. Xuanhuan was pleased. He hadn't married or had kids in this life. Both Shirku and Shiryan adored him. When Shirku came of age, he'd hand over the game company to him. He'd travel the world, then come home to his family in his old age. Shirqing lived to be over 90. He passed away peacefully, surrounded by his loving family. Host, do you want to return? Yes, let's go back and check things out. In an ancient room, a man lying in bed twitched his fingers, then slowly opened his eyes. He was exceptionally handsome, with a strong nose, thin lips, and sharp eyebrows that framed his face. He was wearing a moon-white robe that enhanced his natural grace and nobility. The system sighed. No wonder it had underestimated Shirqing. Shirqing slowly sat up and walked out of the room. Several disciples greeted him. Senior brother. Yes, Shirqing replied, nodding as he passed. He went to see his master, but a young disciple told him that the master was in seclusion, back in his room. After a few days of meditation, Shirqing spoke when the system prompted him again, start the next mission. The system almost wept with joy. It had been worried that Shirqing had lost interest in the missions. Afraid he'd change his mind, it quickly transported him to the next world. Affirmative. Initiating mission sequence. Chapter 20 The Abandoned Young Master of the Marquisate 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dainu, I came to talk about your engagement to my area. Since her accident, she hasn't been herself. It's best we call off the marriage. When Shirqing came to, he saw a simply dressed, middle-aged man. His face was flushed as he spoke with obvious embarrassment. Breaking off the engagement is fine, but Dainu? Shirqing calmly looked around. Only he and the middle-aged man were present. Perfect, he thought, looks like I'm the big guy here. Seeing the host's confusion, the system quickly downloaded the plot. Host, accepting plot now. As soon as the system finished, the storyline flooded Shirqing's mind. After skimming it, he understood the situation. Seeing the man still waiting anxiously for his reply, Shirqing said with a straight face, okay, effective today, the engagement between me and your area is off. Please return the token. Relieved that Shirqing wasn't angry, the middle-aged man quickly replied, sure. He pulled a bracelet from his pocket and handed it over. Shirqing took a look. It was a plain jade bracelet. He casually placed it on the table. They were both reasonable people, and the dissolution was settled quickly. Feeling slightly guilty, the middle-aged man said before leaving, Dainu, I know the Li family is letting you down. If you ever need anything, come find me. I'll help if I can. All right. After the man left, the system chimed in, host, why did you agree so easily? You missed the classic line. Shirqing was confused. What line? The classic line for breaking off engagements. You should have yelled, you'll regret this. Things change, and one day I'll be on top. Shirqing, what is that? Ignoring the system, Shirqing carefully reviewed the plot of this world. Like the last one, this world was also a derivative of a novel. This was a story told from the female lead's perspective. Li Xiangxiang was an average, modern woman, working hard and struggling to make ends meet. One night, exhausted from overtime, she went home and collapsed for a nap, only to wake up somewhere completely different. After some testing, she realized she traveled to an imaginary ancient era, the Daxia kingdom, and was now a country girl. Her days were filled with endless chores and never enough food. Determined to improve her life, she used her modern knowledge to start a business. Slowly, her business grew, and she became wealthy, providing a comfortable life for her family. Along the way, Li Xiangxiang rescued the young master of a prominent family from the capital. They fell in love as they spent more time together. Their different family backgrounds created obstacles, but instead of tearing them apart, these challenges strengthened their bond. Eventually, after overcoming numerous hardships, they defied societal expectations and found happiness together. Shirqing's character, Wang Dainu from Lijiakan, was an outsider who moved there with his mother years ago. He was also Li Xiangxiang's ex-fiancé. The man who just broken off the engagement was Li Dazhuang, Li Xiangxiang's father in this world. Wang Dainu was born after his father's death. His mother brought him to Lijiakan, and they settled there. The two of them lived a comfortable life. According to his mother, she had saved the wife of a wealthy family. The kind lady had shown her gratitude by giving her a substantial amount of money. The mother and son were inseparable. As far as Wang Daniu was concerned, his mother was wonderful. She let him do whatever he wanted, except go to school. They had savings and lived well. When he was 8 years old, the young Wang Daniu wanted to study like the respected scholar in the village, to become someone important and improve his family's standing. He went home and excitedly told his mother about it. To his surprise, she was firmly against it. Usually easygoing, she now strongly opposed the idea. She wouldn't let him study, saying he had no talent and it would be a waste of money. She also said that if he insisted, she wouldn't give him any money and would cut him off. Confused, he gave up on school. His mother bought 2 acres of land in Lijia village. When Wang Daniu grew up, he and his mother worked the fields together. When he was 12, his mother arranged his engagement to Li Area of the Li family. He thought Area was pretty and agreed. Everything changed when Wang Daniu was 16. His mother accidentally fell on the mountain while gathering herbs and died a few days after being brought home. Soon after, Li Area's father came to break off the engagement. Wang Daniu understood he was alone and unwanted. Although he was unhappy, he agreed. A few months later, a carriage entered the village and went straight to his house. Several well-dressed people who seemed out of place in their small village found Wang Daniu and told him he was the young master of the Ho family from the capital. There had been a mix-up at birth, and now the truth was out. The Marquis wanted him back. Wang Daniu was confused and doubtful. He couldn't believe their story until the county magistrate confirmed it. He then returned to the capital with them. Arriving in the grand capital, Wang Daniu, who had never left the village, felt lost. He was taken to the Guanping Marquis mansion, where he met his biological parents and older brother, as well as the boy who had been raised in his place. His father, the Marquis, was stern, calm, and imposing. He frowned when he saw him, spoke briefly, then said he was busy with official duties and left. His mother was a refined and elegant lady. She was very enthusiastic, hugging him and crying, saying he had suffered over the years. She also bought him many things. His older brother came to see him with the boy who had been raised in his place. Both were refined, gentle, and elegant. Wang Daniu looked at them, then at his own rough hands, and felt ashamed and awkward. The older brother was mature and stable. After a short conversation, he sat to the side. But the boy who had been mistakenly raised as his son said a lot. He felt ashamed and guilty, hoping Wang Daniu wouldn't blame him. Wang Daniu saw that he resembled his adoptive mother who had just died and felt a connection. He couldn't blame him. It wasn't the boy's fault that there was a mix-up. If his recently deceased mother knew about this, she would be very upset. Besides, he felt he had lived a good life in the village, at least much better than Li Xiaonuo next door, with enough food and warm clothes. Now that he had found his real family, his future life would be good. He reassured the other boy.